How do people do this? Can you imagine walking around holding a camera up, pointing at yourself in public places? Sounds awful. Let's give it a go. There seems to be a common view that there's a linear empirical hierarchy to cars, and one car is definitely better than another car. And depending on where you're from, that hierarchy looks completely different. And that's the irony of it, because there's no such thing as a linear hierarchy. It just depends on what you value in a car. All right, so I just bought this car. I gotta make this fast, my arm's getting tired. It's a 1991 UNOS Roadster V Special. It has the 1.6 cylinder engine in it, not the 1.8, and it has the short nose crank block. So this is the project car. It's a 1991 UNOS Roadster, which you might know as a Miata. It's a 1.6 cylinder engine with a long nose crankshaft. And so I did a little bit of research before I bought it. This one's pretty much completely stock. It looks like it has some aftermarket coilovers on it that are quite bad. Nose still dips when you brake heavily, and it's got a cold air intake right next to the exhaust manifold. Other than that, I think the car's pretty much stock. I'm going to be building it into what I hope to be my ideal track car, but it's not going to be stripped because I still want it to be a nice place to be. It's a V Special, so it has a limited slip differential and tan interior with the green exterior. Previous owner put a dark green with gold flake wrap on it. I'm going to take that off today and see how the paint is. I'm pretty sure the paint's pretty bad. Otherwise, I don't know why he would have wrapped it. All right, here we go. it's gonna get worse before it gets better, that's for sure. All right. I think I'm like halfway done. This is harder work than I thought it would be. This fender came off really easy. The hood's giving me a really hard time, I guess because it's so hot all the time. I still have to do this whole side pretty much in the trunk. And I was doing a time lapse, but the camera died. But yeah, man. We're getting there. We're getting there. The peeled off some paint here when I peeled the wrap off, but that's fine. We're gonna have the car repainted anyway. And paint looks like it's definitely seen a few curbs. It's definitely seen a few curbs in its day, but I'm pretty happy regardless. And I can get this off, and hopefully it'll be off to the paint shop next week. Yeah, hopefully next week if I can. So it looks like it had rear impact of some kind, I guess. This either was like that underneath the wrap, or it peeled off whatever thin layer of paint was was underneath that metal when I peeled the wrap. It definitely looks like they hit something, and the coloring, I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, the coloring is completely different here. See, and I think this whole section has been repaired, but it is the British Racing Green from the V Special. Because of that open metal, it is definitely going to the body shop soon. Maybe, man, it might go next week, maybe this week if I can, this weekend. We'll see. But this is the car. Don't buy a wrapped car. That's I guess that should be a given. I bought this one because it was cheap, and I'm really more interested in the chassis than I am just about anything else. I was planning on repainting it anyway, but I've got bare sheet metal in my rear quarter panel. It's seen several curbs, and it's kind of just a pain in the butt to take a wrap off. Don't recommend buying a wrapped car. Have them remove the wrap first. I'm over here trying to film, and there's airplanes going by. Oh, that's actually really pretty. So why sell a Skyline for a Miata? Really depends on what kind of car person you are. There's all kinds of different car people. There's drift guys, there's garage guys, there's guys who like customizing car with like building their own fenders. They're doing their own kind of custom aero work, that kind of thing. There's the Bosozoku guys who do all kinds of crazy stuff. Drift guys. The car scene is full of so many subcultures. It's absolutely incredible. For me, I just enjoy driving cars. I don't like working on cars. I don't even like washing cars. Secure it. Oh, I don't have my screws. I don't know where my screws are at. I got so many damn rubber things everywhere. Oh my God, it all came out. So I need a car that will allow me to spend as much time in a driver's seat, preferably on track, as possible. And I really do think that the Miata is going to be that car. When I had the Skyline, it was stressful. It was a stressful experience. I was always worried about people scratching it. I had to watch where I parked. There was kids skateboarding around it all the time in this parking garage, and it's just kind of a pain to know that that was going on. I would find tiny little micro scratches on it every time I went out to it. I was like, oh, is this new? That's not a fun experience for me. I didn't like the stress of that. Anything I did, it would lose value. I couldn't track it because if I crash on track, I'm out the full value of that car. So you really should never track a car that you can't walk away from. So if you want to be a better driver, you don't do it in a Skyline GT-R. You do it in a Miata.